Okay, let's just sit here and chat about some F1 news that's been going on. Mainly because the video I was thinking to have up this week is taking a bit longer to edit than I expected, so we'll try that one next. We can talk about some news this week. Starting off with the upcoming FIA presidential election later this year. Sure, we've all seen news by now. Carlos Sainz Sr. apparently possible could be doing a run for the FIA presidency. I mean, if he did, then I think he definitely would garner a lot of support. He is a very well-known figure and I think very well-respected figure in motorsport, if I'm not mistaken. And frankly, I could see the guy going for a run for presidential election. This is apparently what he said to motorsport.com. I saw this is an article from the BBC. The 63-year-old two-time world champion told motorsport.com he was in the process of figuring out how much support I will get in the community of motorsport. I reckon he'd get quite a bit of support, to be honest, but it continues. This possibility's been in my mind for some time now. Not very deeply, but now I think it could be the right time in my career for me to take the step. I'm confident I can do a good job and put together an excellent team to give back to the sport what part of it is given to me. I've accumulated a lot of experience in this sport throughout the years, and I'm certain I can bring new and interesting things to strengthen and develop the sport and the automobile world. I think he could do a good job. Susie Wolf's name was also mentioned a couple months ago. It's possible she could run. Frankly, I think she could do a good job as well. And at the end of the day, I think anybody will be better than Mohammed Ben Sulayem. But there's the question, what will Mohammed Ben Sulayem think of the possibility of Carlos Sainz Sr. running against him? And that kind of leads me on to my next point of news that came out just the other day, of some changes that Sulayem wants to make, or rather changes that he's proposed for the governing body. Again, the BBC coming through with this article. FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem is proposing changes to the statutes of motorsport's governing body that appear to further extend its control. BBC Sport has seen a confidential document containing the proposed revisions, which are set to be voted on at a meeting of the FIA General Assembly next month. These bring forward the deadline for candidates for December's presidential election, give Ben Sulayem the possibility to bar any candidate from running against him, and allow him more control over the membership of the FIA Senate. I'll take news that is not surprising to anybody for 600, Alex. Like, seriously, is anybody surprised that Mohammed Ben Sulayem wants to try and extend his power in the FIA and extend his control, or however you want to word it? It's not all that surprising, really. God knows how likely it will be that this will go into effect, or this will get voted in, or if it'll be voted out, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But if all this does go in, then I mean, he could bar Susie Wolf from running. He could bar Carlos Sainz Sr. from running. On what grounds, God knows. Maybe that they have family involved in FIA motorsport. I mean, Susie's husband is the fucking boss over at Mercedes. Carlos Sainz's son drives for Williams. God knows. Sticking with Sulayem, apparently he's considering scrapping the cost cap. AP has reported that during the Miami Grand Prix weekend, Mohammed Ben Sulayem wondered whether the cost cap, currently set to around $140 million, I think it's $135 million actually, should be scrapped as it's causing too many headaches. I'm looking at the cost cap and it's just giving the FIA a headache. So what's the point of it? I don't see the point. I really don't. Well, here's the point of the cost cap. I'm fairly certain that the point of the cost cap was to help try and close up the field and try and stop the big boys, your Ferraris, your Mercedes, your Red Bulls, from just chucking $400 million a year at the problem, while the other teams were doing a lot less. Kind of stop the teams from, like, if you mess up your car, you can't just chuck endless money at the problem to try and sort it out. I mean, if they could still chuck money at the problem, I'm pretty sure Mercedes would have been fighting at the front by the end of 2022. But regardless, I'm fairly certain that was the point of the cost cap. Now, if I remember correctly, I think it is set to go up next year. I think it's going up to like 215 million or something like that is what it is going up to next year. But there is a point to the cost cap. There's a reason why it was introduced. And I mean, in regards to closing up the field, it's kind of worked. It kind of did its job. Frankly, I really couldn't care less if it gets scrapped or gets kept in. Would you like to see the cost cap scrapped, or are you happy that it's here? Cost cap aside, last little bit on the FIA news. There has been some improvements made to Appendix B of the International Sporting Code. This is to do with penalties and the swearing thing that all came in. Here is the main changes to Appendix B. The base maximum penalty has been reduced to generally from €10,000 to €5,000. This is a reduction of 50%. However, For FIA World Championships, where multipliers were involved, the reductions will be even more significant. Stewards will have the opportunity to fully suspend a penalty for certain types of breaches, provided it is the first offence by the driver or team. Following approval via e-vote by the World Motorsport Council, the amended Appendix B will allow stewards to differentiate between controlled and non-controlled environments, effectively recognising the difference between language used in uncontrolled and controlled environments. Controlled environments include settings such as a press conference, while uncontrolled environments refer to spontaneous comments made by drivers or teams when on track or during a rally stage. I mean, let's be fair, if someone punts you off and you lose a bunch of places or you end up in the wall, you're not gonna be polite about it. You're gonna freaking swear. You're gonna be pissed off. I mean, come on, we're only humans. We start swearing and get annoyed by the littlest things, especially if you're from the UK. Like, a small tangent here, you gotta love it for the UK. Something really bad happens, like, well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Meanwhile, the tiniest inconvenience happens. We're like, oh, well, that's just bloody brilliant. You see that? It's gonna rain tomorrow. Yeah, I was gonna put the clays in and all. I actually don't think it's gonna rain tomorrow. Our weather is beautiful at the moment. Anyway, back to it. Mitigating circumstances will continue to be considered with additional guidance available to promote consistency and fairness for all parties in the application of Appendix B. Abusive officials will now result in sporting penalties rather than fines, aligning motorsport with other major global sports organizations. So basically, abusive officials will lead to, like, grid penalties and stuff. Racial and discriminatory comments will continue to be addressed firmly. Though the FIA has listened to the complaints about Appendix B and the swearing thing, and they have dealt with it, which is good. The FIA actually did something good, kind of. I feel like there was probably always going to be changes made to Appendix B. They did, they listened. Can we move on from the FIA now, please, and move on to Cadillac, the team that I kind of just comes and goes from my mind that Cadillac are joining next year. It's kind of like the Lewis Hamilton news last year. I would think about it and like, God, that's crazy. That's actually happening. And then it would just kind of slip to the back of my mind, wouldn't really think about it, but it would come back to the forefront. Cadillac coming in next year is the same. It's like, oh yeah, there's an 11th team joining next year. The thing of who's going to be driving for Cadillac is still ongoing. The latest news is that apparently Colton Herta is out of the running for that seat. Frankly, I didn't even know he was being considered for that seat. Well, honestly, I think he's better where he is over in IndyCar. I mean, I don't get I never quite understood the hype around Colton Herta, but I just think he's better off over in IndyCar. Names that are actually in contention for the seat: Sergio Perez's name keeps coming up. I've heard Mick Schumacher's name mentioned. Valtteri Bottas, Guan Yu Zhou are both being mentioned as well. But I think Perez is likely for the seat, and honestly, I think Perez would be a pretty good signing for them. I mean, with how things ended for him with Red Bull and him kind of falling off with Red Bull, it's kind of easy to kind of think of that and then just forget that he is actually a fairly solid driver in the midfield. He was always solid, you know, but back with Sauber, and when he first joined, he was solid before India. He got some great results there. Things just kind of fell off for him with Red Bull at the top, problems there. He is a solid driver to have, and I think he would be a pretty good signing for them. Mick Schumacher is doing a lot better over in WEC than he is in Formula 1. That is clear to see. I mean, anybody can see that. You have to admit it. He's doing good over in WEC. But I don't know, I just feel like Mick Schumacher is better off in WEC than he would be in Formula 1. Because just because he's doing good now, that doesn't necessarily mean that would translate into him doing better in Formula 1 the second time round, you know? Because sometimes drivers are just better suited to other series. Take Brendan Hartley, for example. He was in WEC, he was doing really good there. He came over to Formula 1, he drowned horribly, and then he went back to WEC and he's been doing good again. And take Antonio Giovinazzi as another example. He came in, you know, he was in Formula 1 for a few years, didn't really do much, buggered off, went over to Formula E, didn't do much. He had problems though in Formula E. There was something wrong with his car in Formula E all season long that never got resolved, but then he went over to WEC and he's been doing really freaking good. You know, he's another one that's like, he's doing better in other series than he did in Formula 1. He's doing better in WEC. Perhaps Gio is just kind of more suited to WEC than he was to Formula 1. It would be good to see him back, but I feel like he's perhaps better off in WEC than he is in Formula 1. That's just my opinion though. I don't know who would be likely for that second seat. I could see Mick Schumacher getting it, but I know I've just kind of made my thoughts clear on that one. It would be nice to see him back, but I think he's better in WEC. Joe, I don't really see it happening, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, unless the sponsorship money, because he probably comes with a lot of Chinese backing. Valtteri Bottas could be a good pick. Go for a couple of experienced drivers to kind of get themselves going, and they might want to go for an American driver. Well, Colton Herta has already been rolled out of that one. I would suggest Alex Palou, but he's not American, he's Spanish, and I'm gonna be honest, I think he's probably pretty freaking happy with Chip Ganassi Racing right now, I'm gonna be honest. 4 wins from the first 5 races, and he's probably gonna be a pretty good contender for the 500 win next week. I don't know, who do you see getting the Cadillac seat? I'm thinking Perez could definitely get one of them. Second seat, I don't know. Moving on, and moving on to, actually, we'll stay on the topic of seats with Alpine. That was harsh. Expected, but harsh. Jack doing the boot after 6 races, and Franco Colapinto's in for 5 races. A 5-race deal. Like, does Alpine know that contracts typically are meant to last a full season? Or are they just now handing out 5-race contracts? I mean, if they're trying to evaluate for their 2026 season, then freaking go off to you do you. You know, it's best to kind of just take the chance when you're shit to kind of evaluate things, evaluate who your best option is for 26 with the new regulations, new PU supplier. But it's still harsh. You know, harsh to dump him after just 6 races, to kind of expect him to try and prove himself in those first 6 races when he's a rookie. And there's some not as easy tracks he's not really been to in the past to start off the season. And it was always going to happen. I feel like Jack Doohan getting the sack, but it's still hard. They drove a truckload of pressure in, and then just said, good luck, and you can't just drive a truckload of pressure and then say, good luck, no pressure, you know, and expect him to not drown horribly. But Colapinto's back in. He did alright last season with Williams. I mean, he's just in for 5 races. What are they going to do after those 5 races? Get Paul Aaron in? Steal freaking Haryanto back from Haas? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Alpine right now. They're also on their, like, 4th team principal in the last couple of seasons. Like, how many team principals have they had? They had Otmar Safnauer 2 years ago. Then he got replaced by Flavio Briatore. Then he got not Flavio Briatore, Bruno Famin. Then he got replaced by Ollie Oakes, and then now he's gone, and Flavio Briatore is standing in temporarily, I believe it is. I have no idea what's going on with this team. Honestly, to my fellow Ferrari fans out there, I know Ferrari are a bit shit right now, but just remember, it could always be worse. You could be supporting Alpine. Speaking of Alpine fans, how are you? Are you okay? But no, another team that rumored might get a team principal change, Red Bull. There is rumors that went around that Christian Horner might get fired after Imola if the Imola upgrades don't work, or don't, like, produce what they're looking for or whatever. Take that one for what you will. I've also seen the Helmut Marko just today. It came out that he said that it's nonsense, it's not true. Take that for what you will. It's coming out of the mouth of Helmut Marko, but as I say, take it for what you will on the Horner fired rumors. But yeah, Helmut Marko, he quashed the rumors saying that's complete nonsense. Apparently someone is trying to make themselves important again. For us, everything remains the same. Take that for what you will on the Christian Horner thing. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets fired, wouldn't surprise me if he stays. But Red Bull need to sort themselves out. I'm gonna be brutally honest. They need to sort themselves out and get that car into a window where more than just Max Verstappen can frickin' drive the damn thing. Because if Max does leave Red Bull, that team is screwed until they can get the car into a window that other drivers can drive it and be competitive. You know, because it's been said before, right now, and I think I've said it before, right now it seems like the only person who can drive that car competitively is Max Verstappen. He leaves Red Bull, they're screwed. And in the near future, I could see Max leaving Red Bull, but they are bringing updates to Imola. Ferrari are bringing updates. I don't think they're bringing anything major to Imola this weekend. I don't think they're bringing anything major, but they're apparently doing some sort of one-off test or something. And that suspension thing I mentioned in my last video, apparently looking like that's unlikely to arrive sooner than Silverstone. A final note on Ferrari, then I'm gonna end this. Why can't the Formula 1 team be as competent as the WEC team? Like, why can't they be as put together as WEC? Ferrari have 3 cars in WEC. They've got the 2 official cars, the number 50, the number 51. Then they have the kind of the customer car, the number 83, run by AF Corsa. 3 cars. 3 races into the WEC season, they've taken 3 pole positions, 3 wins, 3 1-2s, and 1 1-2-3. Why can't the Formula One team be this competent? Whoever's running the hypercar team, can they come over to the Formula One side of things, please? And at least Ferrari are having success somewhere. And with that, I'm gonna go. What's your thoughts on everything that's been spoken that I've yabbered on about today? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.